moving to the country, gonna pick out all the peaches. County's full of peaches, the people wanna be free. I'm moving to the country, gonna pick out all the peaches. Gonna vote on paper ballots, paper from a tree. I took a trip to Cherokee, they had a head count I could see, and I knew it was for me. I cast my ballot fair and free. Yeah. Paper ballots is the key.
Okay, the computer's muted. All right. So, hey, we're not sure if you were able to hear that or if you can hear us right now. Welcome to Peaches and Bananas. We're going to do a quick test and see if we can hear ourselves on the live stream. Something has happened to the audio. So, audio technical difficulties, and we do not have a graphic for that, unfortunately. So, I don't know if you can hear us or not. Let me go to the Megastruck Rumble. And let's go to the live. Okay, yeah, I've got audio. So
okay.
Yeah, got audio.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know if the open had any audio in it. So we know we're getting audio from our microphones. Okay, cool. All right, so we are good. Welcome to Peaches and Bananas. In case the intro was muted somehow, I don't know. You know, some of the stuff's in our control, some of it's not. Screaming girls. Viking Dude reaches for his guitar. Calm down. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, here we go. We're about to. All right. Go into the country. Gonna vote on paper ballots. All right. That was the end of the song, I think. So we are Peaches and Bananas. Tanya, tell us a little bit about Peaches and Bananas here.
Well, Peaches and Bananas is mostly about, we try to give you a taste of what happens on Garland's Zoom call that happens every Saturday morning. And because most of what we talk about is Georgia, we decide, well, Georgia's being the peach state, so that's where you get your peaches in our name. And a lot of what you get to hear in that, it's kind of weird, kind of funky, kind of smelly, kind of Banana Republic kind of stuff. So that's where you're bananas. And Viking Dude heard this song that he made a little spoof off for the intro.
Well, show a banana real quick here.
Okay,
We got a banana.
Let's give him a banana. And I don't know.
I can never find them.
My panel went
overlays. Here we go. So people get a banana when they suck in terms of election integrity and wanting, transparency. When people suck, they get a banana.
Yeah.
So we'll do that again. We'll try to time it with the. Try to time it with the. I'm clicking on the wrong thing here. There we go. That gets a.
And then, oops.
Oh yeah, and then the peach is what we award people, and that gets a. Whoop! That doesn't get one of those. That gets a. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. So we award peaches and bananas on this show. The peaches are the good things, and the bananas are the bad awards.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we'll award a smoothie. And the peach and banana smoothie, and that says you just kind of don't have any. I guess you're just kind of mushy, right?
Right. Sometimes kind of peachy, sometimes kind of banana.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So we just told you what is Peaches and Bananas. So that's what the show's about. Excuse me. So we also want you to please take a moment to go like, share, and subscribe to our channels on all of those platforms: X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. Go to Magastruck at Magastruck. If you're watching us live right now, you're on a Magastruck channel. Magastruck is we talked last week about what is Magastruck, but Magastruck is the umbrella brand. And we hope to add more programs underneath the Magastruck brand. And Peaches and Bananas is our flagship show, right, dude?
Right, dude.
Yeah, so you can reach us at, Peaches and Bananas flagship. Yeah, Peaches and Bananas, woo! All right, yeah. Peaches and Bananas. Peaches and Bananas, baby. Flagship show. So, yeah, please go like and subscribe and share us with your friends. We're getting better and better at this show. You know, when we started this, we never had, when we started doing podcasting, not too long ago, we'd never even done one. So we're trying to learn, do better. And I think we're getting there. We're getting incrementally better every show. And sometimes incrementally worse, but
sometimes I screw up.
Right. We take a step backwards every now and then. I mean, but I think we're moving the ball forward as much as possible. And lastly, want to share Tania's Give Send Go. This is givesendgo.com, and Tania needs our help. So let's see. Why am I not in the right? There we go. Givesendgo.com. Tania needs our help. Givesendgo.com/Tania needs our help. Thank you so much for those of you out there who have given to help Tania. Man, $700. That is a huge help for her, right, dude?
Yeah, very much.
This is going to be an ongoing campaign, though, because Tania, and her mom, they need additional funds that most of us don't need, and most of us can do without. So they are in a special situation. So do what you can to help out Tania. And we're going to keep trying to deliver a product that would make you go, yeah, Tania, man, she does so much. She needs my help. And I'll go throw her a few bucks. So that's all I have to say about that, dude. Let's not forget Tina Peters. Right?
Right.
Oh, blast from the past. That was a blast from last week. So, yeah. So Tina, we're going to give her a round of applause here. She's a peach. Right? We're not going to let an episode go by where we don't remind people that Tina's sitting in prison right now. And she needs to be out of that place, right, dude? Prison. Yeah. Tina is a hero. And, Tina is one of the reasons why we just know now that, that she was the... How does the song go? She opened up the black box, revealed the mystery, right? Unveiled the key, opened up the black box, revealed the mystery. And the mystery is how they're stealing our elections. So there's no question now. Everybody, if you don't know this, then you're not paying attention. If you don't know this, then you're partially brain dead by now. Okay? Our elections are rigged, y'all. That's what this show is about. It's about helping inform, helping wake up the dead side of your brain there. The side that gets really mad at the refs when they blow a call or when it feels like there's cheating in a football game. And we get so, I can't believe that. For justice. Fire the refs. We need that same passion for our country, for our republic. For our election system, correct, dude? Help me out here. Jump in there.
Yeah, Tina is a whistleblower, and because of her efforts to preserve election records, we got access to the good guys got access to study the voting machines, and that's led to a lot of investigations and checking out the weaknesses in that system and how it's really set up for cheating rather than securing anything.
Yep. Tina blew it wide open. She's a hero. And she actually was doing her job on the federal level, even though Colorado says she broke Colorado law. She was actually, by breaking Colorado law, upholding federal law. If you want to talk about a conundrum where they can throw you in the pokey for something and find something that you did when you got competing laws. Okay. So that's a whole thing why she should not be in jail, even though a jury, found the evidence that they were able to hear, found her guilty. Her case is under appeal, nonviolent crime, never had a prior. You don't throw a 70-year-old woman in prison. Okay. Never had a prior, nonviolent crime. Okay. Guilty or not guilty, or reasons justified, whatever, while her case is under appeal. She should not be staring down. From what I understand, she's extremely sick, getting worse. And she's 70 years old, y'all. What kind of torture? What kind of just demented people run things out in Colorado to do this? What kind of demented people y'all elected out there? Oh, doesn't it make you angry, dude?
I wasn't expecting the growling dog.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, like I think about this. It's the really disturbing thing in her case is that at the end, when the judge decided to throw a book at her, he made this issue about her lying, and lying. But then he never allowed her to present her defense to show how she wasn't lying. So, he accused her of something that he didn't allow her to defend herself from, and that's not justice, dude.
No, it's not. So anyway, we gave you those numbers. I hope you were able to write those down. We'll show them again at the end of the show. There's 2 phone numbers to call, and there's also a website where you can go to the White House. Continue to put the pressure on, man. Do not let anyone forget about Tina. If you have a podcast, if you have a blog, if you're a daily X-poster, if you're an influencer, if you have something that you're doing in the sphere of influence in the media, whatever kind of media, do not let a day go by or a program or a post or whatever go by and remember Tina Peters. Say her name every day as many times as possible. Don't let anyone forget, especially at the White House. Don't let them, and the DOJ, don't let them forget. I mean, this has gone on long enough. Okay, enough of that. So on to our first segment here, dude.
Okay. Well, this is where we get into the VoterGA highlights, right?
Yeah. Well, let's start off with a kind of a title graphic here to kick things off. This topic has to do with the continuation of what has been recently dismissed and completely done away with. We're calling it the Fani case dismisso RICO reverso. Okay. That's what I've been calling it. Just to serve banana slice for Cathy. So Cathy Latham is who the Cathy is we're talking about. And Cathy made an appearance this past week, yesterday, on VoterGA Zoom Call, 3-hour Zoom call that we participate in so that you don't have to. Garland would hate to hear us say that, but it is a Saturday morning and people are busy. So, but here, let's see if you can see my cursor here, and maybe I could zoom in. There's Cathy up there next to Sidney Powell, right? Mm-hmm. See if I can zoom in on Cathy. See if I can get over there. Oh man, I gotta try to. Yeah. I got to go down. I can't really scroll.
It doesn't let you move.
No, it does. And there's no way to move it around. So
Okay.
there she is. Anyway, there she is in the upper right-hand corner. That's Cathy. Okay, so all these people, some are high-profile lawyers. You know, Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis. Is that her name, Ellis?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Harrison Floyd, a lot of these people are very high. Yeah, Rudy Giuliani, high-profile names, very recognizable people. However, you've got some in this group that are just regular old people like you and me who got snared into this group in 19. I mean, can you imagine? You're just a nobody, and suddenly you're one of 19 people indicted next to President Trump in a RICO charge. One day you wake up, it's like, what am I? Is this Stranger Things? Am I in the upside down world? I mean, what just happened overnight? You know. So that's who Cathy Latham is, and we got a chance to hear from her now that this case has been completely dismissed. Cathy's talking, right? We get to hear it from Cathy, and it's unlike what the media has been, brandishing unfairly, unjustly, despicably, lyingly brandishing her the whole time, and she's been, basically gagged, not able to really talk about it and defend herself to the media. Now she's talking, so we were very interested to hear her story. Correct, dude?
Yeah, because she's one of the regular people. She's a former teacher. She's a retired teacher, and she was the chair of the Coffee County GOP.
Yeah,
and got tangled in that mess.
All right. So what the media was lying about, what everybody was lying about, what Fani was lying about, what everybody's lying about is the Coffee County breach. The breach.
What
the breach? Well, here's the breach. Hold on, let me back. So we got a little video here about that. And this features Garland Favorito, and I get into it with Representative Sarah Draper.
Countess Drapula.
Countess Drapula. I love it, dude. So here we go. Just to kick things off, this is about the breach. All right. I'm not hitting the sound effects very good. Here we go.
Given your goal for election integrity, how active has your organization been in calling for an investigation and the breach in Coffee County?
The security breach.
Security breach.
Involved in the breach.
The Coffee County breach.
The breach in Coffee County, please.
You called it a breach.
We're talking about people from outside the election office gaining access to the election equipment, going in the night when they weren't supposed to be there, putting in USBs into the equipment and getting information off of the machines.
Mm-hmm. We were involved in the court case that had to do with that, and a lot of the evidence was put out in that court case.
So the breach of the
breach.
Security breach.
The breach.
The Coffee County breach.
The breach in Coffee County. Breach of the election machines and the data contained in the election machines doesn't fit within your goal of your organization to improve election integrity?
No, that's totally untrue. You're trying to attack our integrity, and I just want to get you.
I'm just asking you about your mission and what you've done.
I'd like to be able to.
Sir, you pointing out the hypocrisy does not not an attack on your integrity.
Okay.
But let's move on.
So,
how long have you been?
You're not letting me answer the questions. You're making statements, and then you're not letting me respond, and then you're saying move on. That's pretty unethical.
I don't say it's unethical.
No, I don't think it's unethical. Yeah, maybe. Well, ethical is. I would say it was very spuriously inappropriate. For what that Blue Ribbon Study Committee is supposed to be doing is finding a safer, secure way for us to vote. Instead, they're trying to smear and attack election integrity stalwarts like Garland Favorito. I mean, it's just so. Anyway, that's the breach, right? The breach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it takes me a minute to flip through and find the right to the next thing here. So here we go. Set this one up for us, dude.
Well, this is Garland introducing Cathy Latham, and we figured that no one better to do it than Garland. before we get into the myth, the legend, and the mystery of what happened in Coffee County.
Yeah. So again, this is from the VoterGA Zoom call yesterday, and maybe the first time people are hearing this from Cathy, right? Here we go.
We're grateful to have Cathy Latham on today. Cathy has suffered more persecution than almost anyone except for Donald Trump himself in regards to the Coffee County situation. And what we wanted to do is to walk you through what actually happened, which has been completely suppressed by the news media. And we want to start off with the 2020 election. But so first of all, I want to welcome Cathy. Thank you for joining.
I just want to say thank you to everybody in Georgia. Thank you to everybody in this group who prayed for me. People supported me financially. You don't understand what it's been like. This has been a tribulation. And I hope to be able to write about it and talk about it more, because God has been with me. He never abandoned me. He walked with me through those halls at Fulton County. He's been with me. He held my hand when I had a stroke. I mean, he's just been with me the entire time. So I want to thank y'all, everybody.
Okay, yeah. I had to mute the microphone there because I have 4 dogs down here with me tonight. They're usually not in the studio. They are tonight. Just forewarn you, there may be some activity. Dogs, they get excited pretty easy. But anyway, that was Cathy, kicking it off by thanking everyone for their prayers and support, and met with more support by the VoterGA group. We all love Cathy. We think she's a hero, right?
Yeah, I mean, as a result of being that case, she ended up having to leave her home in Georgia and move to Texas, because of, she had that charge of that RICO charge attached to her name. She couldn't get a job. She was gonna lose what she had. Ended up having to retire sooner than she wanted to, and she'll tell that story. But because of the pressure from people, ended up having to leave the state, and that was kind of she didn't tell the story in the call, but it was pretty awful to hear from her friends speaking about it.
Okay, here you dive into the election of 2020 here, and they start to tell the story from Cathy's perspective. Here we go.
Let's start with the 2020 election. And as I understand it, the system failed to count, I think, 40 ballots on the original count. It just never counted them. And then when they tried to do the recount, they found another 185 ballots and the system did not count those either. It was completely rejected them. So the system never counted 225 votes, and the Board of Elections unanimously agreed to certify the hand count as the only legitimate count of the 2020 coffee elections.
We started having problems in the primary, and they just escalated into the election. And then, of course, it blew up in the Senate runoff in 2021, that January 2021. And at that point, it was during the machine count that we saw that every ballot that was a QR code rejection, when we were running through the machine count, they were all Republican ballots. They were all Donald Trump votes. Only one was not, and it was a Biden one, and it had been the QR code, it had a tear in it. And then in the Senate runoff, every QR code, 100% of the QR code rejections were when they voted for the 3 Republicans.
Whoa.
Yeah. So here she's talking about 2020 when we had the election night results. Then the state had they ordered a hand count of the elections of the presidential election, and in that, for Coffee County, they realized that when they had the election night results, the system said that it didn't count 40 votes. Then when they did the hand count, they ended up with the same result as what the machine was, even though they counted the ballot. So it was looking kind of funny there was a third machine recount, and that got really screwed up because I wish I had that graphic. Well, I do. Because when they did the machine recount, the machine had 100 votes less, 110 votes less than their original count. Then right after the recount, it gets really screwed up. So now we have three different totals, or three totals that don't make sense to each other. Then they find 185 ballots, put them through the machine, and they get the same results as they got on election night, even though there were 185 ballots more in there. So,
and she describes, I guess she was a poll watcher. So the breach, she was breached. Here she is seen in a room that is only allowed by people who work the elections. Well, we know from poll watching training, we know from being poll workers, you and I both have been poll workers, the poll watchers are allowed to observe, right?
Yes.
So the news media, either they don't understand this or they intentionally try to, smear her with their news copy, whoever their copy editor is. Just insidious, despicable type smearing. But, I wasn't there that day in Coffee County, but I do know that poll workers who are cleared ahead of time and they have a credential that they can wear, poll watchers, I should say, they're allowed to observe, right, dude?
Right. But let's play the next video where so at this point they're seeing that they're getting results that don't make sense. So they're getting different results that don't agree with each other. There's no way to reconcile, and they seek help from the Secretary of State's office. So they turn to the Secretary of State, and here's the story of what they get from the Secretary of State.
The House Government Affairs Committee, I know you testified, I think at the Senate Committee. I know that one of the board members testified at the House Government Affairs Committee because he testified right in front of me. And so y'all explained this to the Government Affairs Committee, and you explained that you didn't get any help from the Secretary of State in resolving these problems. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and this is, Cathy, I know you can fill in some details. At that time, I remember this vividly, it was December 10th of 2020. As soon as the election board member testified, Ryan Germany sent an email to the chief investigator, Francis Watson, and said that the board member, I believe it was Eric Shaney, had lied to the Government Affairs Committee about not getting any help. And she said, well, could you check it out? You're on your way down there. Can you talk to him about this? And Francis Watson went down to try to figure out what was wrong, why y'all were having so many problems. Now, fill us in on that, what happened when she got down there.
Well, when she got down there, she came down there with two other officers, I believe. I believe there were three of them. Mm-hmm. And they came with guns blazing, handcuffs ready to arrest everybody. And luckily, the county attorney was there. He said, how about we do a recount? He even grabbed some kids because his kid went to one of the private schools. He made a phone call. They got a group of high school kids come down there to do the batches. They were going to reenact, making the batches, doing all of that. And guess what? The machines messed up. And they spent over an hour and a half with the manual and everything trying to get the machines to act correctly. And they didn't act up. They didn't act correctly. They didn't know what was going on. They could not even get the machines to duplicate anything. So that was not in the report from what I understand. They didn't talk about that they couldn't even get the machines to work.
Yeah, so what a responsible elections director does is if they didn't get an answer from the Secretary of State, they still wanted to know that, understand what the heck was happening with the machines. Why was it malfunctioning? So they got some computer experts to check out the machines. And the so-called breach is not a breach, it's an investigation. and that is when Cathy was involved. She called Scott Hall, who was investigating election problems for in Georgia. She called him, and they were in touch with Sidney Powell at that point, and they got a team of computer experts to check out the voting system and see what was happening with the computers. And that's what they ended up calling the breach. Them trying to get an answer that they couldn't get from the state, couldn't get it from the Secretary of State, and they couldn't get it from the investigator. And what the investigator came up with was completely bogus. And we'll hear it from Garland. We'll hear that story from Garland.
Yeah, so they sent an investigator in. He doesn't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to election equipment, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally bananas.
Yeah, this is a total bananas. This is another couple of those from our state here, from our officials here in Georgia. I mean, it's just constant. So, all right. So before we play this, I just want to let you know, I don't have any control over what's being shown in the VoterGA Zoom call. So for whatever reason, they just stayed on that PDF spreadsheet forever. And Cathy's in the little box up top. So look for Cathy in the little box. And I don't know why she goes in and out. Again, it's a VoterGA Zoom call. Some of them are better than others. So this one, we're just dealing with basically the audio. So here we go.
So Frances Watson got into court in the curling case, and we had gotten the questions lined up for her. What Frances Watson testified to was that the reason that the problem occurred was because you didn't have the right number of ballots in a batch. Now, technically, that is absurd.
It doesn't matter. When you run a batch, it can be 5 ballots. I mean, come on. It doesn't matter how many's in a batch. If you can't get the machine to work on 5 or 50 or 100, something's wrong.
Exactly. So I wanted to make the point that Frances Watson, the chief investigator for the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, lied under oath in the Curling v. Raffensperger case. And I would testify to that if I was ever allowed to.
Bananas.
Bananas. You heard it from Garland. He said, I would testify to that if I ever got the opportunity to, that the investigator sent by the SOS office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Garland said he would testify that the person was untruthful, under oath. So, I mean, this was the kind of lawfare that was going on just everywhere. It seemed like everywhere in the country. And, it does not resemble the place that I grew up learning about in civics, right? It resembles more like what I learned about with the Bolshevik Revolution over in the Soviet Union is what this resembles. Is that what we want to be, y'all? I mean, come on, we got to start standing up for this. We got to get our voices out there, right?
Yeah, and the really disturbing thing here is that, okay, they had, as Cathy tells us, they had trouble with the machines in the primary. They had these major issues with the presidential, and they didn't figure out how to fix it, and they were making them still have to use the same broken system for the runoff.
Right. And we're still using the same broken system.
So
I mean, we're approaching 2026 and we're still using the same defunct, like Windows XP, early 2000s operating system. I mean, just everything that you can imagine that could go wrong is wrapped up and bundled nicely in these Dominion election equipment. And we're still using it. They can't get the state legislators, can't get the judges, can't get anybody to do anything, right? We've tried and tried and tried. So what's the next video here, dude?
Well, how they kept having trouble with the machine. So
Yeah, here we go.
going into the Senate runoff.
Then we got to the 2021 U.S. Senate runoff, and that's when all the problems happened again.
By this time, we're into January 2021. We were in this little tiny room. It was Misty, me, and the Democrat, and we're watching the scanning of the ballots. And poor Misty could not get through any batch without just the QR code failure. And it was QR code failure one after another. And when you pull that ballot, it was the Republican ballot. And it was over and over and over again. We couldn't get through it. During early voting, one of the machines, the scanner at the early voting had failed. And so they had to lock it down and redo another one. And so we had to rescan all of those ballots plus election day ballots plus all the absentee ballots. So when everything closed, it was all this complete scanning, and it was endless. It should have been over within an hour, and we were still sitting there at 10:30 still trying to scan, and Misty was only just scanning a few ballots at a time. Finally, Eric lost his temper with the Dominion tech and told him to get his boss on the phone. He got in touch with Scott Tucker, and Eric basically told him they had 30 minutes to fix the machine or he was going to call the press in to watch it. And Tucker said, "Is that a threat?" And Eric goes, "No, it's a promise." And so the guy went outside. We stood around like, just waiting on them. And then he came back in. He was giddy. He was bouncing. He was driving us nuts. And he stood right next to the scanner with a smartphone. And like magic, the machine started working. And, in our opinion, we kind of said, what just happened? And we all discussed the fact that this machine had to have been fixed remotely.
So obviously that was repaired remotely. Now, the other thing that we've learned since then, Cathy, is that all the Dominion systems are interconnected worldwide, and they're programmed and maintained in Serbia.
Yeah, so now we're getting the people are like, oh, nobody knows. No way to know that.
Yeah. So we're getting to disturbing thing 2 and disturbing thing 3. Disturbing thing 2 was the bias in that it was ballots from one party that were failing. It wasn't random. It was selective to one party. Not the first time that we hear it. Not the first election that we hear. Well, maybe that's the first one, but we heard of other elections since then. Carrie Lake being one of them, where it seemed to be the Republican Party's ballots that were failing, not a random failure. And disturbing point number 3, that they fixed it remotely. So, we've gone into elections thinking and saying and repeating, because it's what we are told in the media, that the computers are not connected to the internet, that it's air-gapped. But by holding the phone near the computer system, they were able to suddenly magically fix the voting system there. So, not air-gapped.
Okay, so next one, right?
Yeah, and if they can do it, anyone with bad intentions can access the system remotely too, which is the problem there.
Okay, what are we going to in this one?
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the mystery of Coffee County, and where you can see that it's they're trying to get to the bottom of something really broken there when they talk about that breach.
The breach. There you can see the breach happening right in front of your eyes. The breach. I mean, they were in a shitstorm there. Ballots not scanning and, examining the ones that would just getting kicked out, and they're all Republican ballots. They're all Republican votes. And it's like, and here's what a state legislator might say in Georgia. Well, could you tell who it was who was voting then? Is their name on the ballot? That's what you might hear from a state legislator in Georgia. And anyone with 2 brain cells that can rub them together knows that no ballots have anyone's personal information on the ballot. Right? Unless you choose to do a write-in candidate like Mickey Mouse in some kind of crazy you know, handwriting where when you get the ballot images and when you ORR the ballot images, you can go find your ballot, right? But there's no way to know who voted the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, like if you choose to vote for yourself or something like that, then you'll find your name on ballot.
Yeah. You can you write yourself in as a write-in, and you can go find your ballot. But those are the kind of crazy things that we hear these non-educated, non-knowing anything media and elected state officials. Are they elected? At this point, who knows if they're truly elected, right?
Elected or selected.
Yeah, or were they selected? Because they certainly don't know anything about elections. You can just tell by their questions. All right, well, here's where we get into the RICO stuff, right?
Yeah, this is where, so we've wrapped up the issues in Coffee County, and Cathy talks a little bit about why she ended up being in the case, in Fani's crosshairs.
Yep. Here we go. Here's how she got snagged into that whole mess.
They definitely wanted you because you were connected with the GOP.
That's what I found out. I was important because I made the RICO chain. Without me, they did not have a RICO case. And that's why they wanted me to plead guilty to RICO in my plea bargain, which I didn't do.
We are so grateful to you and Misty and the others who have held out. Had you pleaded guilty to something that you didn't really do, that would have just really made it incredibly difficult, as you've explained.
I mean, there's a reason why I didn't take a plea bargain. Number one, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Number two, I'm not going to plead to something that's a lie. That would have hurt my Christian testimony. It would have hurt my entire reputation. And also, I was not going to portray my country that way, to save myself, to commit to a lie. And I mean, that's just, I wasn't raised that way. You always speak the truth and stuff. And I told my lawyer to tell Nathan Wade, if you can show me the law in black and white and show me the evidence where I broke the law, then I will plead. But until you can do that, I'm not pleading to anything. And they wanted the RICO charge. They wanted me to plead guilty to the RICO charge. I didn't remember this, but my lawyer did. And he said, when I told you what they wanted, you just went, hell no. And just the first thing that came out of my mouth, I went, hell no, I'm not doing that. Oh, they also wanted me to write a 5-page paper. I guess because I'm a teacher, they wanted me to write a 5-page paper on democracy. And I told my lawyer, I said, I can write a 5-page paper on why we are a republic, but I can write a 5-page paper on the dangers of democracy. But I said, I'm not going to write a paper what they want. So, but I told them, no, go pound dirt. And I was not going to do that. That would have been a major betrayal to my savior and a major betrayal to this country. And I was not going to do that. If I knew I had to go through it again, I think I would do it again. Of course, I haven't been able to get any jobs because the RICO charge shows up. Would I do it again? And I said, heck yes, because I didn't do anything wrong. You should always do what is right. And,
Amen.
And if it means testifying, if it means putting yourself out there, you do it.
Yeah. So we know what time
Way to go,
it is,
Cathy.
right?
Way to go, Cathy. Peach. Cathy the Peach. Oh, well. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and throw her award up here. Cathy Latham. It's our privilege to award you with the Peaches and Bananas Peach Award, right?
Yep. Definitely.
Well earned, well deserved. You earned a basket of peaches. You earned a peach tree. Way to go, Cathy. You really set the example for all of us with your courage and sticking by what's right and not giving in to to anything other than the truth. So we admire you and we lift you up as a hero.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah. So we've got more Cathy if we want to hear it. That kind of marked the last of the story behind this fake news story. But we have more videos. Do you want to talk about the financial hardship a little bit? You want to hear from her talk about that?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Senate Bill 244 passed
Yes.
in the last session. I testified for that bill. We helped lobby for that bill to get it through. That gives you and everyone else a chance to recover all the, not only attorney's fees, but damages that you have incurred in this gross prosecution, Fani Willis's political adversary. And she started this, by the way, by saying that she needed extra money $5 million a year to reduce the murder case backlog in Fulton County. So I am a Fulton County taxpayer, but I just hope that you get everything back that you deserve to get in triplicate.
Yeah. And I mean, I want all the attorney's fees paid. I paid my own bond, so I hope I get that back, because I haven't been able to work. So been living off my teacher retirement and my savings, and it's quickly going down. So yeah, I need to get some of that back, and that will be nice. So thank you for lobbying for that.
Were you relieved of your teacher job
No.
because of the case?
Well, what happened was I retired from Coffee County in 2021.
Okay.
So at 28 years of service, I had a year sick leave, and I was able to buy a year because I had invested in a 403B. So
Okay.
that, but I also had started working for the state of Georgia under Georgia Virtual, and I was a high school teacher on Georgia Virtual since 2019. I knew when the indictments were coming down, I had to come get out of that job, or I would have been fired, and it could have possibly led to them coming after my retirement.
So I didn't intend to put all that in the end of this. That's one that I think I screwed up. I got distracted. I meant to cut that earlier. But that's good on that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like something really disturbing to me. So there was I've heard about her being unable to get a job because of the RICO charges showing up. And she talked about being fired as a dog walker. And when I heard it from one of her friends, they had said that she was fired because of the RICO charge showing up. But Cathy describes that it was someone that recognized her, and they pressured her into getting fired. So it was another citizen leading an effort to get her fired because of speaking up in this. And really, again, all she did was that she called someone that was investigating election problems and was present there when they came in to check on the machine. So, investigating a problem when the state failed, I have a really hard time in reconciling that as a bad thing.
Yeah, and again, Cathy Latham and Misty. What's Misty's last name?
Now I'm blanking out.
I'm blanking on it too.
Misty Hamilton.
Misty Hamilton and Cathy Latham from Coffee County. Again, y'all, these are just regular little people like us, and they can't get. Cathy told us today she can't get a job because this is still, even though she's been exonerated. I mean, it never went to trial. She has this charge, this undisposed of charge, right?
Well, now she's free. So
yeah.
So
now, but it's still. I know this because I had an undisposed of charge from the early 90s that I didn't even know about. So I went to get a gun permit. Many like decades later, and the judge said, "Hey, man, you've got an undisposed of case where it was supposed to have been dismissed, supposed to have been dropped." And I thought it was, and went 20-something years and never knew that they never disposed of the case. I had to go down and get that expunged. But but this is stuff that's on your record, and as soon as there's any sight of anything like this, especially a high profile case like this, I mean, if I had a big company that needed to hire and Cathy came in, I'd be hired. I recognize you, hired. You're, I've got a corner office for you right here with windows on all sides, baby. But apparently, they're having trouble. So Cathy's still being persecuted in this way.
Well, I want to make a correction. It's Misty Hampton.
Hampton, okay, yeah. Misty Hampton.
Yeah, well, it's too soon. The charges just dropped, so it's too early to know how this is going to chase her. But just from from people that I know that have been charged. Once that charge is public, even though they're vindicated in time, that still chases you because there's that stigma that kind of it sticks.
Yep. And meanwhile, all the bad players, bad actors still have jobs, right? Including Fani, right?
Including Fani.
It was coordinated from the White House, and I think both Nathan Wade and Fani Willis made separate trips up there. One of them talked to Kamala Harris. Scandalakis concluded that in his report.
There was so much coordination there. If you ever look at the special purpose grand jury list of the people who testified, I looked at that and went, why are people testifying that have nothing to do with Georgia? So there was all kinds of stuff going on. I've written about this, and I don't want to see anybody just thrown under the jail haphazardly. I want the law followed. I want it to be fair. But if anybody was found to be trying to overthrow this country, if anybody was found to be committing treason, sedition, they need to be held accountable. And I'm ready to start seeing some handcuffs and some mugshots.
Handcuffs, mugshots, handcuffs, mugshots.
It's time for some justice, but I want it fair. I don't want it haphazardly. I don't want somebody's life ruined like mine just for show. It needs to be fair and legal all the way. Full transparency.
Well, I commend her. I commend her grace on that, but I mean, I'd be like, I'm ready to see some justice. I'm ready to see my vindication would be, it's time for these people to be locked up. It's time for them to experience what I experienced. I hate that I'm like that, but seriously, it's time. We have suffered enough injustice in this country. We've seen, it's like, man, we are black and blue and bandaged up from all the injustice that we've had to endure. I've endured injustice, and in this whole ordeal, censorship. I'm still banned on Facebook and still banned on X from the Twitter days. Just for not even doing anything wrong or saying anything wrong, just speaking my mind, not being vulgar, not being, obstinate, trying to have a dialogue, actually. But because my dialogue was on the wrong side of the fence, I'm still banned to this day. I'm still censored. What country is this, y'all?
And that brings us to our next segment and wrapping up the VoterGA highlights.
Yes, it does. So let me get to the right. Here we go.
Yeah, is free speech in danger?
Is free speech in danger? Is free speech in danger? Is free speech in danger? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That one's new. And this week, it just so happens that our threat to free speech is coming from across the pond.
Ooh, okay. Let me. I'm still kind of bouncing around here on Windows and keyboards and all kinds of stuff here. Let me get to. Okay, where is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, yeah. So let's take a moment to show everybody what it is that people across the pond are facing. And here's a cartoon on what's it like living in the UK.
Can't complain.
That's good.
No, I mean, I can't complain. I might go to jail if I complain. Get it?
That's bananas, dude.
That is bananas. That is boing. Next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so here is she's a diplomat talking a little bit about some recent things going on in the UK because she's speaking out about the things that they can't say. And it's a short video, just under 2 minutes.
Okay, here we go.
I got off my European train and checked into my European hotel and noticed that a member of European Parliament called us to follow our rules. Well, I'm traveling here on a diplomatic passport, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to say a few things that ordinary Europeans can't by revisiting some remarks for which people in Europe and also the UK have been investigated or arrested or jailed by their governments over the past few years. So, as I tweeted a few moments ago, a German woman notoriously received a harsher jail sentence than a convicted rapist after the woman called the rapist, quote, a disgraceful pig. This was after he participated, along with several other disgraceful pigs, in the gang rape of a 15-year-old girl in a public park. Similarly, a British woman was dragged out of her bath by 11 police officers after she referred in a private text message to a man who allegedly violently assaulted her as, quote, a faggot. And victims of violent crime aren't the only people who lack free speech rights in Europe. In Sweden, an activist called Rasmus Paludan was jailed after he burned a Quran and referred to Islam as gay Islam. Finally, in Germany, a man faced a criminal investigation for referring to Green Party leader Ricarda Lang as, quote, fat. There are many more. I could go on. But it's important to note that the European censorship bureaucracy often postures as populist, fighting against big tech. Yet none of the people I listed as a large tech company. These are ordinary Europeans and one Brit who were punished by their governments for saying what they thought was true, or just what they felt like saying. In a free society, that shouldn't happen. So which is it, Mr. Braunstetter? Is there no censorship in Europe, or do we all have to follow your rules?
And this is from U.S. Department of State Undersecretary of State Sarah B. Rogers, speaking of her observations of what's going on with censorship in Europe.
Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan had a conversation. Tucker had an interview with Piers where Piers says, "Oh, I can say faggot. I can say faggot without fear of retribution in my country." And Tucker said, "Well, go ahead then, say it." And he's like, "Oh, no. I choose not to say that. It's offensive." And I was just thinking about that. It's like, okay, well, it's a slippery slope, dude. I mean, I was thinking about a story before we did our show related to this, what this woman's talking about. You know, when I was younger and I had just started out down here in my career, I played in a baseball league, and I had one of my teammates became one of my best friends.
Uh-huh.
And he's from Panama, and he's very dark pigment, very dark. I mean, we talk about ebony. He's the ebony keys for sure on the keyboard. Okay. So he and I became great friends. We became roommates. Okay. We were teammates. We were roommates. We would run the town together. We would try to go out and chase skirt together. I mean, we did everything together. We had such a good time. He became my co-best man in my wedding. And he used to say to me, as he would, as we would play baseball, and I'd hit a home run, or if I would do something cool, or if I got a promotion in my job, or he saw something that I produced that was really cool, he would say to me, "My fly nigga getting bigger," like that, and I'd be like, "Cool." And so I would say that back to him, and it was no big deal. But like now with the algorithms and the censorship, and when people are looking for these buzzwords, if I were to say that now, I would be banned, or I'd be kicked off, or I'd be fired, or something like that, where it was a term of endearment between me and my best friend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just crazy what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I feel like saying that something's retarded because it's retarded, I should be able to call it as it is. And, some things are just gay. So, so like some examples of things that they're not allowed to say is like, if they say anything against immigration or to, something like we need to take back our country, that would get censored, that would get them in trouble. If they say anything about sexuality or marriage, like call someone a faggot or just say, "Hey, that's gay," they get in trouble. Election disinformation or election truth, that would get them in trouble. climate change, which we know is a total lie. And anything criticizing a leader. Like, what was the example that someone said that their prime minister is fat? You know.
So yeah, we're looking at a post here from Elon. So I don't know. Did you already go over this or?
No, I didn't. So
yeah, we're an hour into the show. I'm just trying to pick up the pace here a little bit.
Yeah, so we're getting now into where this is a problem crossing over the pond. So here, Elon, this is something that he posted last year.
Says the European Commission offered X an illegal secret deal. If we quietly censored speech without telling anyone, they would not fine us. The other platforms accepted that deal. X did not. So I guess Margaret says that was a response to, in our view, X doesn't comply with the DSA in key transparency areas. It misleads users, fails to provide adequate ad repository, and blocks access to data for researchers. It's the first time we issue preliminary findings under the Digital Services Act. Tell me more about the Digital Services Act, dude. What the hell? What the heck is that? What the heck is that?
Yeah, so they're having, it's their control to keep the internet safe. So they're saying that even though people may have freedom of speech, they don't have freedom of reach. And by that, they're saying that any speech that they don't like, that they want to consider hate speech, they want platforms to shadow ban those statements. And Elon said no. Elon said pound sand. And then we had a little warning from JD Vance chiming in.
Yep. Here we go. Rumors swirling that the EU Commission will fine X hundreds of millions of dollars for not engaging in censorship. The EU should be supporting free speech, not attacking American companies over garbage.
And that was December 4th. And then the next day, Marco Rubio tells us.
Okay, here we go. Let me zoom in on that. Marco Rubio says the European Commission's $140 million fine isn't just an attack on X. It's an attack on all American tech platforms and the American people by foreign governments. The days of censoring Americans online are over. It's nice to hear, yet here I still sit, still banned on Facebook and X.
Yeah, but you're not banned because of the European countries trying to censor you. So I don't want to get off topic there.
Okay.
Like some of the issue has been that because of saying something that the European countries don't like, someone traveling into European countries, and this happened to a comedian in, I think it was the UK, went into the UK, got off the airport, got arrested for saying, for a show that the UK government didn't like. I have on number 6 a video of them explaining themselves, and it's a short video too, Viking Dude.
Okay, here we go.
This is it started playing.
Well, I gotta unmute it and stuff here.
The audio's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible audio. We got to QC this stuff ahead of time, dude. You can't just play a link. I can't turn it up any louder. Okay. So it's subtitled there.
So
the post says EU dictator Ursula von der Leyen equates free speech to a virus and censorship to its vaccine. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a dystopian witch, I don't know what does. At the Copenhagen Democracy Summit, no less. Europe's speech is dead. So, yeah, problemos over there in Europe.
Yeah, so basically her argument is that it's better to pre-bunk than to have to debunk something that they don't like. So if they allow a thought that they don't like and they have to debunk it somehow, they're saying that that's worse than preventing it altogether, and that's what they're looking to do, to prevent free speech. And this is prevent speech that they don't like.
Well, that gets a banana.
It does get a banana. Although not the graphic that you're showing.
No, but what we just showed gets a big fat but rotten banana.
Yeah, that lady gets a big fat banana.
Von der Leyen. I don't know how you say her name. Vanderland, von der Leyen. Anyway, guard your loin from von der Leyen. So anyway, that's so X looks like they're the only ones that are taking a stand. Nice. That little stick figure is still standing on the grave of my X account. But yeah, so put your money where your mouth is. There are still people being censored on X. You still got bad actors inside the. I don't know if they're people or machines or algorithms or what, but you got bad stuff going on inside X too.
Yeah, I mean, like there's been stories of like with the story about the Venezuela election interference and subverting our elections. Elon had a part in that, and they're shadow banning Elon's on tweets. So there's an algorithm there working against even Elon himself. But on this case, Elon is taking the hit. He's got this huge fine now, and they're saying that they can even escalate it. But then as a result, he's getting even more support. More people are downloading X now in countries across Europe. But now, we have to see what President Trump does in response, because at least the undersecretary spoke about some measures that they might take to make sure that foreign countries don't infringe on our free speech and try to control what Americans can say, because their idea of hate speech doesn't get to trump our constitutional rights to 1A.
Keep going, dude. I'm looking for a song to play here. I just discovered something. Our assets are not playing the audio. I just tried to play a song from our uploaded assets at StreamYard and nothing. It's not muted or anything.
Okay.
So another technical glitch from good old StreamYard. But thanks, guys. I mean, your platform's kind of cool, but man, there's some things that they could work them out. I mean, there's some glitchy stuff, man, and just get off the yacht from the Amalfi Coast for a minute and answer some tech support calls. Because you got a badass platform, but you're milking in all the revenue you're taking in and not answering tech support calls, right? Something's going on. Can't seem to get anywhere with their tech support lately. But yeah, so go ahead, dude. I'm trying to find the Magastruck music, just the music. Maybe I should just do the Peaches theme song here and we can take it out, right? Real quick. Getting long in the tooth here on this show, so let me again, we Peaches and Bananas is about mostly about bringing you stuff that you don't get to see or hear unless you participate in the VoterGA Zoom call, and take pride in doing that. Tania puts a lot of work into VoterGA. She has for 5 years. I do a little bit of work, but not nearly as much as Tania. I wish I could play some music. Maybe I can
and something that we try to do is to keep it not as technical as the call sometimes try to get, and try to make the content accessible. Still working on it.
So I'm just going to do some music, little music on the keyboards here, since our assets are not working on StreamYard tonight.
Well, dude,
I'm gonna have two hands though. So all right. So here's our next promo. So go ahead, Tanya, with that.
the thing that you can do to help me the most is to like, share, and subscribe and follow. I'm working on it. I know that I'm not so great at my storytelling just yet. But there's a goal that I have here, which is to keep all that content from the calls accessible to everybody, and something that you can show your friends that haven't been dialed in from the beginning. And, if we get too in the weeds, we don't want to lose anybody. So that's my goal. And so if you like and share, subscribe, that's what you can do to help me the best, so that those algorithms pick us up and get us in front of more eyes. And it's not about money for me as much. I mean, I do need the help. But
yeah, she does. She does need the help, dude. Stop.
Well, I'm saying that the likes and the subscribes and the follows are a bit help. I need to get to where we can monetize.
GiveSendGo.com/Tanya needs our help, and she does, guys. Tanya gets mad at me, but man, I mean, she spends most of her time giving and makes very little money, and she has a lot of expenses. We're doing this show to try to help Tanya. We're providing a product, and we're not, charging or anything. Maybe we can get some advertisers, sponsors one of these days. Working on that. Meanwhile, Tanya could use your help. Go throw a little bit of cheese if you feel it in your heart to do. That's all I'm saying. Dude, I give a lot to you.
I know you do, dude. Thank you.
It costs me a lot. Okay, so I'm asking others to help me with that effort. Okay, help me with that effort. So that's coming from me too, dude.
I know.
Dude.
I know.
Okay, and also, we can't forget, we always start and wrap each show with Tina Peters. Call those numbers every day. Call them. Go to whitehouse.gov, contact, fill out the form. Just real quick, say, here I am again today. Set Tina Peters free. Come on, get off your asses, President Trump, DOJ, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. Just say, here I am again today. Get off your ass again today and get her out. I mean, just keep pounding it every single day, right?
Yeah, and you can keep it simple. They already know who she is. You don't have to, get into the whole story or explanation. Just any short little message, something similar to what you see on the graphic there, will do.
Yeah, I can't believe none of our assets are playing, none of our music's playing or anything. Okay, and yeah, lastly, here she is. She's our, I guess, our perpetual peach, Tina Peters. She's really, we've had a persecuted woman on tonight that we talked about, Cathy Latham, but this woman's persecution continues on behalf of liberty, on behalf of American principles of free, fair elections. Non-banana republic type approach to life, which is what we want. So she is a true hero. I've got to play some music of some sort here. Let me load something up. Go ahead, dude, if you can stall for just a second. Keep it going.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And any advice that you have, something that could really help is, on the advice front, like even makeup advice, I'll take it. And Viking Dude, I think. Oh, I hear music.
Yeah, but they don't hear it yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now. This will be what takes us out. Cool. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I hope you had a good time tonight. And we're out.
I'm moving to the country, gonna pick out all the peaches. County's full of peaches, the people wanna be free. Moving to the country, gonna pick out all the peaches. Gonna vote on paper ballots, ballots from a tree. I took a trip to Cherokee. They had a hand count I could see, and I knew it was for me. My vote was cast and it was free. Cast my ballot fair and free. Took a trip to Cherokee.
This
Had a hand count I could see, and I knew it was for me.
I don't
Cast
know.
my ballot fair and free.
Acapella. Maybe we'll just go ahead and end it. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Wish I could fade it out. There's no way.
I'm moving to the country, gonna pick out all the peaches. County's full of beaches, the people wanna be free. I'm moving to the country, gonna pick out all the beaches. Gonna vote on paper ballots, paper from a tree. I took a trip to Cherokee, they had a hand count I could see, and I knew it was for me. I cast my ballot fair and free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm moving to the country, gonna vote for all the peaches. Gonna pass on those bananas, those swampy politicians. Yeah, I'm moving to the country, gonna vote for all the peaches. Not falling for bananas or the tailpipe trickery. I went up to Forsyth County, they had a hand count I could see, and I knew it was for me. No bananas in their tree. I travel all over the state. Georgia people are irate. They want a vote that they can trust to cast the ballots fair and free. Yeah. Well, I'm moving to the country, gonna call on all you peaches. Gonna pass on those bananas, they're hiding in the peach tree. Moving to the country, gonna call on all the peaches. Gonna save our free republic, paper ballots is the key. Yeah, paper ballots is the key.